What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 20 of Park to Prem here with Lincoln City. The takeover has happened. I've not got the Norwich job. I thought I would drop by pre-intro just to show you what's going on here. We've had a consortium take us over, led by Prestwich-based Gary Robinson. And, sorry, Clive, but you are gone, my friend. The takeover has happened. We've got all these new directors now. This I mean, look, there's lots of new faces. We're going to learn them all. I'm not going to remember their names. The board, they love me. We're not getting sacked. That is a silver lining. Whenever there's a takeover, there is that slim chance you get sacked. And as you can see here, we're able to operate in the transfer market once more. And they had promised me some money, 3.9 million into a new transfer budget. And if we go here, they want to discuss a meeting about increasing something useful. Has anyone ever seen one of these meetings where they don't ask for you, like, oh, do you think we should give our scouts more money? No, upgrade the youth facilities. Yes, I want the transfer budget. Let's have a chat. That great idea. I mean, that was the shortest chat ever. Thank you, David. Transfer budget increased to 6 million. Oh, I love them already. They've injected some money into the club, about 4 million just this month. I like this new board already. They're not getting rid of me. It's all looking great. The January transfer window has just opened. Callum Green could be going to Crystal Palace for 6 million. I'm not even doing the actual live commentary for another few weeks, but here we are. Could be the end of Callum Green. Savour him in red and white. And, I will join you guys for the game against Preston, which is a few games away. Right, run the intro. Let's do this. What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to Park to Prem here with Lincoln City. Today, it is third versus first, a huge league game against Preston. The takeover has happened. I've gone a little bit crazy in the transfer market for mid-season, and we've played a whole host of games since you were last here. Now, because there's so much to go through in terms of transfers, I'm only going to go through these games really, really quickly. We've played a big amount here, including one in the EFL Trophy, which we lost against Manchester United's under-23s. Right now, we've talked about that. Get rid of it for the year. EFL Trophy, go away, gone. Sorted. I feel better now. Let's talk about the league games since you were last here. I'm going to go through these rather quickly because I want to talk all about the takeover and the transfers that have ensued, because I am going for broke. I am going for the title. We've got some good form since we brought in some new players. They're having an impact, and I need, approval of you guys for the new transfers, really. I'm nervous about them. So anyway, after the Chelsea defeat, we took on Southend. We lost 4-0. That isn't how it was meant to happen. Maurizio Pochettino's son scored against us 3 times. He got a hat-trick very quickly. That was a saddening result. That was in the space of 8 minutes. Cheers, Pochettino. Jack's crying. Anyway, the next game we had was against Afc Wimbledon. We beat them 2-1, a good little recovery. Cabango with a goal. Also, Jay Rowley with a goal. This is a guy who I don't recall talking about in a very long while. We signed him, I think, at the end of last season, so he doesn't appear on this year's transfers. But we signed him from Wales. He was another one of these cheap punts. And you might have noticed the likes of Yolo have just kind of vanished from the first team. I don't think I've seen a comment about the fact that Yolo has vanished. He is still here. But ultimately, players like Yolo, players like, I guess, Desire Williams to an extent, they're just not good enough, everyone. We've climbed up a few leagues. They were good when we were at Boston United. Star players then, they've not really improved. They've not really shown their potential. And with that in mind, they're just not good enough for the first team, sadly. I think Jay Rowley might be the exception. He's back in the under-23s now. Just decided to give him a game here because of the rotation that was needed. But he scored and looked pretty good. Anyway, the next game we had was against Birmingham City, a Birmingham team who at the time were in some fantastic form. They looked good in this game as well. Johnny Harding scored for them in the first half to make it 1-0, and we knew that was always going to provide a mountain to climb. This was a tough game. Despite winning against AFC Wimbledon, I definitely had that Southend result, the 4-0 defeat, in the back of my mind. And, when they scored a second, panic station set in. I went more attacking, and then Drooling, who you will notice I have nicknamed, he scored an awful own goal. I want to say an awful own goal. An unfortunate own goal. It's not like he's booted it into the back of his own net, but the ball has hit the woodwork, hit him on the back, and gone in. He was in the team, actually, because Cumming had another injury. I was hoping he was going to do some more heroics. He didn't really do them. Just on Drooling, and rather on Nottingham Forest, I suppose. Obviously, I've talked for a little while about the fact that Forest I think could be a pretty interesting job. They, of course, play up in the Premier League. They're currently 20th. They've not won a game, but they've not sacked Chris Hughton. Is that mad? I mean, if they go down without winning a game, I feel like that's the job for me. And I would have to go for it and hope that we can get it. But yeah, a little bit of a weird scenario playing out where they just don't want to get rid of their manager. I mean, I'm not gonna judge our affiliates because they're in a higher league than us. I'm sure they know how to manage a football club. Just thought it was a little bit weird. Anyway, we beat Burton 2-0, which was a great little result. And then we followed it up with a game against Shrewsbury. We beat them, or rather, no, we drew against them 2-2. Ellis Sims and Teddy Jenks with the goals in that game. And then, well, for the month of January, defensively, we've been awful, but the goals are flowing. In the first game, we beat Barnsley 3-2. This was a really, really good result, actually. In this game, they took the lead first through Bart Wijkhorst, who is one of their star players, I'm pretty sure. I think he's a Dutch striker who can play out on the right wing. But yeah, he took the lead for them in this game. But then Aidan Fitzpatrick to the rescue, 2 goals in the space of 10 minutes, just before half-time, gave us the lead going into the break. And not long after, Ellis Sims grabbed another. At 3-1, we looked very, very good. But we did concede again. Yeah, super late goal conceded, a bit of squeaky bum time, but ultimately a really good result here against Barnsley. Barnsley and Birmingham, 2 of the teams who are very much in and amongst us, hence the fact I'm showing you their highlights against us. 1 win, 1 defeat in those games. The good news is that we've continued on with some pretty good form as of late. We beat Fleetwood 5-2. Not going to recap everything that happened, but it was a mad game. We were 2-1 down in this game at half-time. Yeah, we were. 2-1 down at half-time, 1-5-2. Good response from the team. We beat Hull 3-2, which was another really good result in this game. All the goals came inside the first 8 minutes. It was a weird game. 8 minutes, 5 goals, finished 3-2. And then against Charlton most recently, a 1-1 draw. Bit disappointing perhaps, but with this run of form, albeit a bit of a mixed run of form, we finally have caught up in terms of fixtures played. There is none of that madness and ridiculousness with fixtures in hand and such. This is how the league table looks, and the most, I think, staggering thing really is the fact that no one's pulling away with the title. No one's been a super standout team. Today's opposition, Preston, are sitting pretty at the top of the table. They're going to be a tough team to beat, but hopefully we're going to be able to do it against them. And while you'll notice here, the top goal scorer in the league, I have to talk about this, Ellis Sims is second on 16. The top goal scorer is this guy, Macmillan, on loan from Leeds, playing for Fleetwood. The man has got 29 goals in 30 games. It's not fair. It's just not fair, everyone. But yeah, he is the reason that Fleetwood are going so strong right now, and they have looked very, very good indeed. Anyway, let's talk about transfers, shall we? And firstly, Hiram Boateng is on his way out. I've unregistered him as well. We signed him on a free at the start of the year, trying to cash in on him whilst we can. You'll notice his replacement might be just sat in the top right corner here. Also, Callum Green, yeah, he's still here. Still here. Rejected Palace. Rejected. I know exactly. That's what I'm thinking too. It was ridiculous. I was well happy. I thought 6 million. That could, get us a few big players. And then he's still here. He just decided they weren't offering him enough money, which I kind of have to respect, I suppose. Anyway, let's look at the transfer history. And this is where things get a little bit mad, because if we just look at things on the outs, a little bit of a fire sale perhaps. So out with the old, in with the new. Mo Addons has left us to go to Newport County. He was asking to leave the club. I decided to let him go. Cons, I mean, he's not played centre-back in about a year, so again, just made sense to get rid of him. And Finney also on his way out to Exeter. With all of these sales, players who were at the club when we first took over, at the club when we were a League 2 team, ultimately they've been fringe players, and given the players that we've signed, I needed to free up room in the registration to bring in all the players that I wanted to bring in. So let's talk about them. There's some good players here. There's also a few players for the future, including Lionel Robert, who joins us from Juventus. I mean, that's all that needs to be said. He's 18, got some potential. I'll be honest, it was a bit of a punt on him. As it turns out, might not have all that much potential, which would be a bit of a shame, but he was a freebie, so I'm not going to lose any sleep over him. One player we spent a little bit of money on was Jim Kerr. His contract was expiring at the end of the year. We swooped in and snatched him away from Rangers. Again, a little bit of a young punt, I suppose, but with his contract expiring, just decided it was worth a little bit of a gamble. When one of Rangers' better youngsters is available on our freebie, I feel like you're making a mistake if you don't at least get them in to see what you can make of them. But besides those, I'll talk about one other young punt. In fact, no, 2 young punts, but one is a bit more of an expensive punt. Peter Match has joined us. Welcome to him. Check him out. Get it? He's from the... Right, move on. He looks okay. Again, punt. We love our punts here, but one player who I don't think I can call a punt, simply because I've spent £500,000 on him, that could rise to over £1 million, is Kilmarnock youngster Paul Gibb. I mean, I'll give you a chance to look at him. Here he is. He's just turned 17 2 days ago. Fairly professional personality, capped at Scottish under-19 level. To me, he looks like he could be incredible. He looks like he could be an absolutely top quality, maybe deep line playmaker is probably what I was thinking, really. Although his composure needs to improve a little. But all in all, really good player. Could play a whole host of positions. I love his technicals so much. As I said, he's just turned 17. I've not spent a small amount of money on him, though. £500,000. He was Kilmarnock's key young player. That's not a thing. He's their hot prospect. You know, when you go on this screen and click on hot prospect, he was there, one of those. And at 16, it felt like it was worth a bit of a punt. You know, with the takeover having happened, I felt empowered to spend stupid money. So he has joined us. I say stupid money. Let's not say it's not that silly. It's a punt. We'll see if it works out. Anyway, in terms of first team players, because I feel like I've bigged up all these transfers and I've just reeled off a load of players, realistically, you're not going to see on the pitch this year. Let's talk about the players that we have got. The first, Nathan Coughlin. That's almost certainly not how you say his name, so Irish viewers, please do fill me in. Either way, though, this guy has joined us from Waterford. Bit of an interesting career. He started at South Shields, moved to Ashton, and then moved to Waterford. Did I say Waterfield? I meant Waterford if I said Waterfield. Yeah, they play in the League of Ireland Premier Division. He got 6 goals and 8 assists for them last year. He joined us for £400,000. He is a top quality deep line playmaker. Looks really, really good. At 19 years old, he injects some real creativity into the team. Truth be told, I brought him in thinking that we were about to lose Callum Green. He was kind of the Callum Green replacement. So then when Callum Green's deal fell through, it was a little bit awkward. It was kind of like, you know, the Spider-Man gif where they're pointing at each other and there's 2 Spider-Men. That was these 2 guys in the training ground. So we've brought him in. £400,000 is absolutely nothing. And I have brought in a couple of other centre mids. The first of which is Jake Taylor, who we've signed from Forest Green. Now, I know what you're thinking. He doesn't exactly look like the most crazy player you've perhaps ever seen in Football Manager. But hear me out, because I think this guy is a really good box-to-box midfielder. And one thing that he can almost certainly do is be a bit better defensively than some of our other centre-mid options. You can see him here compared to Charlie Carter. Head-to-head, he's just a lot more complete as a player. He's a lot better defensively. He's got a lot more kind of key attributes in the areas where I'd really want them to be, I suppose, for a box-to-box midfielder. And at 27 years old, I feel like £185,000 is a quite small price to pay. So far, he has hit the ground running as well, which is always nice to see. Anyway, another player we picked up is Scott Twine, again from a divisional rival. We signed Scotty Boy here from Swindon. He can play as a striker or as a centre attacking mid, and we spent £650,000 on him. He's not impressed so far, but earlier on this year, playing for Swindon, 13 goals, 5 assists, 5 player of the matches. He has consistently over the last 5 years hit double figures in League One. I think it's safe to say he is a player who is very capable of playing at our current level. I think he can also make that natural step up. And whilst it's not a small sum of money, I feel like he's the kind of player who can be a difference maker, can be a player that we start potentially, bring on off the bench. And that was kind of something that I needed to do here. I did look at bringing in some superstar players, but there weren't any players with a load of star potential. So rather than, not sign anyone, I thought, let's just make the team as strong as we can in as many areas as we can. And another place where we've done exactly that is at centre mid yet again with Herbie Kane joining us. This guy does have a little bit of a history with injuries. Started his career at Liverpool, joined Barnsley for £1.2 million. We have now signed him from Reading for £475,000. You can see for the last, few years he's been playing in the Championship. Bit of a punt, not huge wages, which was nice, a long-term deal. Nice to get a little bit of experience into the team as well. He's got really good mentals, which is something with a younger squad you can sometimes lack. And he can also fill in at right-back, which, whilst I wouldn't love to play him there, it's kind of useful just to have as a little option in our back pocket. Anyway, the final player we've signed is Courtney House. I think this guy could be a really, really big signing for us. or it could be a disastrous signing for us. He joins us on loan from Bristol City, where he is contracted to them on £24,000 a week. Now, obviously, we can't afford those kind of wages. We're paying just a fraction of those, less than £5,000 a week, a monthly paying fee of £12k for the next 5 months. And we have got an option to buy him at £1 million, but there's one reason why a loan made a lot of sense here. And the reason is his hamstring. It's made of paper, everyone. His hamstring is made of paper. It's not a rumour. I'm not making it up. It literally is awful. He's torn his hamstring 5 times in the last 11 years, but a lot of them more recently, which is probably why he's dropping down to League One. Nevertheless, though, he injects some real quality in at centre-back. If we can keep him fit, I think he's going to be quite important to the way that we play. So anyway, you might think, where do all those transfers kind of land into the team? And the truth be told is, I'm still not sure. As I said, I feel like we've not brought in any star players here. Rather, we've just added a lot of strength in depth. What I would say now is, when you look at the team, it's a super strong team with a really good bench full of game changers. And I'm still rotating it around. I'm still trying to find our groove, given how kind of intense the fixture schedule has been through the month of December and the month of January as well, to be honest. It's provided a good opportunity to rotate things around. And in terms of the team going into today's game against Preston, this is how we line up. So some of the new players making appearances, coming in goal, Lopez Hughes and Cabango at the back, but now Courtney House coming in to play left centre-back, the elusive left-footed left centre-back. We've not had one of those in a little while, so good to have him in the team. In the centre of the midfield, we're going to go with Teddy Jenks today, alongside Coughlin. I say that, I've changed my mind. I'm going to play Taylor. I think Taylor is better than Teddy Jenks. And there's not a world of difference between them. I feel like a lot of our team selection is going to boil down to kind of current form. But he's a little bit better defensively, a little bit better going forward. Not quite as good in the air or as mobile. But no, you know what? Jake Taylor, he's impressed me so far. As has Coughlin, to be fair. He's got 2 assists in 3 appearances. I feel like a few of these players really have attributed to the fact we've been able to maintain our good form so far through this month. In the attacking third, we're going to go with Fitzpatrick out on the left. Very, very good player there. He's been in some good form. Twine is going to play down the middle, which actually isn't where I'm thinking about playing him. I see him being competition to Fitzpatrick out on the right. But of course, the fact he can play a load of positions naturally is always useful. Today, centre attacking mid makes the most sense. We're going to start with Willis, the Notts Forest. I've said Notts Forest. It's because it says Not M. It's Nottingham Forest, Jack. I said it yesterday incorrectly. Don't come for me. I'm sorry, Nottingham Forest fans and Notts County fans. Right, I need to barricade my window. I'll be back. Okay, I've boarded up my windows, everyone. We're fine. Right, Chris Willis is out on the right. Sims up front as well. On the bench, we've got Hayden Muller. Thompson is a new signing. I didn't talk about Thompson. He is the new Mo Addams. He can play left. He can play right. Left back and right back, that is. He can play centre mid as well. He's a really, really good backup option. He's only 25 years old with lots of mobility. Happy to be a squad player. But yeah, a bit of a super sub on the bench. I really like what he can offer for us, actually. He's a bit more attacking for a backup fullback, but kind of like that in a weird way. Anyway, Teddy Jenks and Carter on the bench. Cottrell might feel a little hard done by to be dropped to the bench, but with the new players in the attacking mid positions, it only makes sense. Callum Green also starting on the bench. Simply put, he struggled for form this year. He's not looked particularly good this year. Coughlin has looked very good this year. And last but not least, we've got El Idrissi on the bench too. You may notice Herbie Kane not in the team just yet. I want to give, the players that we've got a chance. And Herbie Kane has only joined us as a squad player, so he's not expecting a whole host of first team football. But I'm pretty confident he will be a player on the bench at the very least by the end of the season. Anyway, let's get into this game. This is a huge match. You can see here, Preston up at the top of the table on 61 points. We sit 7 points behind. A defeat here, and it's pretty much, I want to say, Preston winning the league, I feel like. I feel like at that point, the gap would become unassailable. But given our recent form, given the fact we're at home, I'm hoping we're going to put in a good performance. And Courtney House, who was a pretty late transfer dealing prior to this episode, he's making his debut today. We've got to give him a number. And I should point out, there's still a week of the transfer window left. And whilst I feel like we've done all our transfer business, never say it's over until it's over. I say all of that. We've actually run out of squad registration places, everyone. There is only 20 spots for players to be registered. We are at that limit. So if I did sign anyone, I'm going to have to get rid of someone, which doesn't feel very likely at this point. Because to be honest, I'm pretty happy with the overall balance of the squad. Anyway, early chance here. Cabango, that's what we want to see. Fitzpatrick whipping it in. Cabango scoring. 1-0, 3 minutes gone. Top of the table, Preston. Should I be... No, we're third in the table, Lincoln City. Fear us. Cabango, huge header. He's had a bit of interest actually shown in him by Cardiff City, but I have fended it off. Also, they've got a rumble in centre mid. That's not our rump. It's our... Luke? When did this happen? He's not played for them yet. Luke Rumble, our man we sold for 2.2 million, is playing for Preston at deep line playmaker. I just want to... We sold this guy for 2.2 million. Compare him to Herbie Kane. That's a bad comparison. Compare him to Coughlin. Coughlin, where are you? I say Coughlin. It's Coughlin. I mean, there's the comparison. I know who I want in my team. I know who I want in my... Right, this is just stupid measuring contest, Jack. Get rid of it. But no, we're beating Preston. We're closing the gap on them to 4 points. Because of our defeats against Birmingham and against Southend, where we lost 3-0 and 4-0, our goal difference is kind of in the gutter. But I'll tell you what's not in the gutter. The set pieces. Fitzpatrick's whipped in another one this time. Twine on the volley. At centre attacking mid, getting in on the action, scoring his first goal at the club, if I'm not mistaken, and his 18th for the season, if you include his goals at Swindon. He's a man who can do it at this level. He's showing us that he can do it at this level. I was nervous for this game. Why was I fearing them? I feel like the squad that we've got here is devoid of any super standout player, but what we do have is a squad of top kind of leading League One low-end championship players who are pretty young and have a bit of a point to prove. They've got a fire in their belly, and well, Preston so far do not have anything in their belly. They've not scored, they've not had a highlight. At half-time, you would have to say it's been a pretty even game, but the ball, for the most part, bogged down in the midfield. But at 2-0 up, the ball can get bogged down. The ball can get stuck in the pitch and never move for the rest of the match, as far as I'm concerned. I will happily take a 2-0 win. An hour gone, and the beauty of this team now is we can make some pretty big changes when players aren't performing. Willis out on the right has been poor today. Let's bring in Ben Cottrell. Ellis Sims has been poor. We can bring in El Idrissi. Elsewhere, though, pretty happy with how things are shaping up. Obviously, you can see here, Jake Taylor on a 7.0 is looking great. Cabango on his 7.6. And I don't feel like our defence has been too tested just yet. I was expecting a bit of a ding-dong battle. We've not been very good defensively as of late, but yet, well, so far Preston haven't tested us. Realise, potentially inviting them to score now, but, well, we're going to deal with this. And now Chapman with it. If I'm not mistaken, Ellis Chapman, who is that player there, former Lincoln City Academy youngster. Might wish he'd never left after we beat them like this. Anyway, Cottrell fresh off the bench. You might expect him to outrun the player there. Instead, he's just decided to give it back to Preston. Very charitable is Ben Cottrell. Some defending needed to be done now. High with the ball to McCarthy out on the right. Don't let him get the ball in. Tommy now with it. If they score now, it could be squeaky bum time. But fortunately for us, that shot whistles wide of the post. We live to fight another day. But this is good. They're not doing anything. We've got another corner. Courtney House was under it. Isn't going to get there. Cottrell win that race. He should win it. He's a quick player anyway, but he's only just come on. Taylor, El Idrissi, back to goal. Now with Coughlin, who has the ability to pick out passes like that. Cottrell, rebound, we'll take that. 3-0. Game, set, and the match. I don't know why I'm talking like I'm a darts announcer. But we've won. Look at that. 3-0. Don't turn this into the darts, Jack. You're not drunk enough to be able to embrace this. Cottrell, genius sub. 3-0 up. Preston, go home. Go home, Preston. We've looked really good here. They've committed to this weird... I say weird, it's not that unusual, but it's a bit weird, isn't it? They're playing a 3-5-2 everyone, which I'm not sure is the formation to get you back into this game. Twine's got one already. Could he get another? It's blocked, but only to Fitzpatrick, who is going to go on a wander. Gives it to Chapman, who lumps it clear. Can we win that? We can't. They could catch us on the break here, but at 3-0 up, I'm remarkably composed. Even if it went to 3-1, I'm going to remain composed. There's no way they're scoring 2 goals in 105 seconds. It just isn't happening, folks. It's just not happening. In fact, I'm just going to make a sub to time waste. You know what, Teddy? Get warmed up, mate. Well done, Jakey boy. You've played well, actually, Jake Taylor. The new signings having I want to say an immediate impact. One of them scored. One of them's had a 7.0 performance at centre mid. I think for the most part we've looked in control. Don't make it 3-2, Preston. Stop it. Stop it, it's disallowed. We're fine. 3-1. That will be all she wrote. There is no time left in this game. This is a huge result, though. We've looked really good. We've been putting in some good performances. I have made the signings I've made after the takeover to really push for an automatic promotion spot. I felt like it was in our grasp. If we can perform like this against teams who are top of the league, and you'd have to say running away with it at the time, it can only bode well for the upcoming end to the season. I think there's only 16 games left after this. There's not a great deal of games left. It might be slightly, now thinking, is it slightly more than 16 or less than 16? Either way, there's not too many games left. We're getting a highlight at the end, which we don't need to see. We've won everyone. We've blooming won. Good result. Attacking mids were superb. The better team gets the result. And you know what? Preston never really threatened us. The 2 early set-piece goals kind of set us on our merry way. But I'm happy. The media, they're taking a while to react. They're in shock, everyone, at what they've just witnessed. Lincoln City running rampant against Preston North End. And you can see with that result, the title, well, it's up for grabs now. You'd have to say we look pretty good for a playoff spot. There are 15 games left of the season, but we've already played a lot of the teams in and around us, which will hopefully and theoretically mean that the end of the season is going to be a little easier. But we all know how that plays out. That's usually rarely the case. But I don't know. I look at months like this month here in March where we play the teams in 22nd, 24th, 20th, and then 23rd. Like, we should win all of those games, but we have actually got to go and do them. Anyway, you can see here Shrewsbury, Grimsby, Carlisle, Oxford. I'm looking at the league positions here. Genuinely, it's pretty mad. When do we next play a team in the top half? We've got Wimbledon to start April. That feels like a good point to come back for. They are second in the league. We should have had a youth intake by then. It is actually a few months away, but the fixtures, mercifully, are starting to space themselves out, which is nice for us because, I'm going to be honest, the last 2 months has been absolutely mad. Anyway, folks, that's going to wrap up everything from me today. The takeover has happened. We didn't get the Norwich job, but we're on our merry way. A promotion here could put us in really, really good stead. We're looking superb. And hopefully we'll still be going strong when I join you guys next time. If you have enjoyed today's video, drop a like on it. And until next time, it is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.